Wasting money on cures. Forgot how to fix myself. They say that time is free. Then why is it so precious? Oh, I'll save memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. Time is running out. Time is running out. Lately I've lost my track. I've sailed the deepest seas, hoping to find something to bring back better times. Oh, I'll save memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. But time is running out. 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 Time is running. Time is running out. But time is running out. What if my best days are over? They can't be over. They can't be over now. Time is running out. What if my best days are over? They can't be over now. Time is running out. Time is running out. Time is running out.
Hi, it's Jim McGrain back for another 30 minutes or so of live revision for Edexcel level business. Afternoon, G.
How you doing?
Good, mate. It's a good old session, this one. It's quite challenging is the word, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all new stuff. Really good. I'm really pleased with it.
And it's for theme 1 and 4. So paper 1.
Paper one,
Same
B,
old thing.
because we did paper 1A earlier on, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, so new topics from that one, new questions. So just whilst people are joining us live, let's dive into the big reveal. Take us through this one, G, because I suspect that we will get down to clue 4.
Yeah. So under the question mark is the name of a business. Under each number is a clue. Founded in 1913, this business. So if you're sat there thinking, I know a business, but it was founded in 1912, well, it's not this one because this was 1913.
You do like those businesses founded around the start of the First World War, don't you?
Yeah. Longevity. Okay, clue number 2. Over 606 locations worldwide. So it's obviously an MNC.
Yep.
It's because it operates in over 606 worldwide locations.
I'm guessing, is it retail or food or something? I don't know. Is it?
Well, it could be, couldn't it? It could be. We don't know, do we?
We'd be foolish to guess, wouldn't we?
All I know is I was in one of their shops recently.
Oh, so it is a retailer.
It could be.
Oh,
Could be travel agent. Well, that's still retail, isn't it? It was founded by two brothers, Mario and Martino.
is it M&M's?
Honestly, someone's got Charlie Stapleton. So it sells clothes, eyewear, perfume, and in 2007, it launched a phone in a joint venture.
Joint ventures.
With LG Electronics.
Yep.
Clue number 5. It's a Milan look. And I was in Milan last year, and actually I went to the Milan. Oh, yeah, I did. It is Prada. So I went into the Milan Prada shop. Beautiful. Okay.
Did you buy anything?
I bought a pair of Prada America's Gold Cup shoes.
Right. Have you ever worn them?
And I dare not. I just look at them. They were so expensive. I dare not wear them. They were an eye-watering amount of money. But yeah. But anyway, those were the days.
Well, it's an investment, G.
It is. So, question number one: a global coffee shop chain decides to launch its own brand of tea based on customer market research to sell to its existing customers. This is an example of. We've got the choices there. It's a product orientation and market penetration.
Yeah.
Or a various combination of the others. Difficult question, this, I think.
Yeah, we need to know the difference, don't we, between product and market orientation.
Yeah, and market penetration, diversification, and market development.
Yep.
What do we think? So, a global coffee shop chain decides to launch its own brand of tea based on customer market research to sell to its existing customers.
Existing customers does some hard work there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's quite important. Yeah. That rules two of them out, doesn't it? From
it does.
From Ansell's matrix.
But the customer market research is important.
Yeah, it is.
So I can see the answer on screen,
and a number of others.
Yeah, I can certainly see the answer on screen. It is indeed. It is C, market orientation and product development. So a new product to its existing customers. It's market orientated because the tea is based on customer market research. Good stuff. Maybe this business needed a turner of a new leaf.
Boom, boom.
I don't know.
Let's do the next one. So, which of the following statements is false? It is next one. Yeah, let's get the right question. So, is it A, government subsidies, can they lead to a change in supply? Is it B, a product with a price elasticity of demand coefficient of minus 0.8 is price inelastic? Could it be C, is literacy an indicator of growth? Or D, economies of scale, are they a push factor?
Wow, so we've got four different topics here, haven't we?
Yeah, one of those only is false. So three of them must be true. Lots of answers coming in, so thank you for those having a go in the live chat. I know lots of people just like to watch and just do it maybe on themselves without typing it in, but that's cool as well. Let's take a look at the answer. I think most people have got that right. Adam and others were, and Curryman were hot to trot, as they say.
Hey.
Got the answer in pretty early on. As did Jack. Let's have a look. It is indeed. Yeah, it is D. I was going to guess D without even revealing the answer. So yeah, economies of scale are not a push factor; they're a pull factor.
They're a pull factor.
The other three are indeed true, aren't they? For example, that PED of minus 0.8 that tells us that for every change, 1% change in price, the quantity demanded would only fall by 0.8% or change by 0.8%. So it's indeed inelastic.
It is.
Good. Okay, it's our next one. These are getting harder.
Yeah, of course. So strong branding can reduce the price elasticity of demand. This was examined in paper 3 a few years ago. This concept, and geocentric marketing is a mixed global marketing strategy. So the types of global marketing strategies right for a 20 marker. Choosing between two different ones. Are those statements true or are they false? Strong branding can reduce the price elasticity. So I think by reduce, it must mean the coefficient gets smaller. I think that's what
less
that must
than
mean.
1. Yeah, or it gets smaller.
It gets smaller. So if it was like
minus
minus 2, it could
still go down. Yeah.
It could go down minus 1.5. So is that true or false? Geocentric marketing is a mixed global marketing strategy.
One of the three, aren't there? 3 strategies that we need to know about.
Yeah.
Ethnocentric,
polycentric,
and polycentric. Yeah.
Okay.
Should we have a look at the answer?
Yeah.
Well done for those of you who said this first or second.
Mr. Giga, I said it first. Maybe. So both those are true. So yes, it can reduce. If a business has a strong brand name, one would assume, Jim, that their customers are less responsive to a change in price. They're prepared to pay maybe a little bit more. And yes, geocentric marketing is mixed. And I think there's some good examples there. For example, McDonald's is a good example because in some countries they still have the burgers and the fries, which is, but they also have, some products that are aimed specifically for the local market.
Yeah.
KFC as well, with their shrimp burgers in China. Yeah, good
So
stuff.
theme four. Okay, so what about this one? I'll do this one, shall we? So Mayo, two statements here. You just need to decide whether each is either true or false. So Mayo, when he was not making mayonnaise, he came up with some theories of motivation. Elton Mayo, did he emphasize the importance of social needs and teamwork in motivation? Was that one of his theories? And secondly, would reducing the quota amount reduce trade barriers? So we know that in terms of barriers to or protectionism, we've got quotas and tariffs as being two of the most important trade barriers.
Yeah.
What do we think?
The others on the spec are so the other trade barriers on the spec are subsidies and government legislation, but tariffs and quotas are the main ones.
Yep. Okay, most people saying that's interesting. Quite a lot of people saying A, and that would suggest that everybody thinks statement one is true. But we've also got some B's. Let's have a look, shall we?
Yeah.
It is B. Let's just go through why that is. So yeah, let's deal with Mayo first. Yes, indeed, he did emphasise, in particular, the importance of working teams. So that's true. But reducing the quota, that's going to increase trade barriers, isn't it? Because a quota is the quantity of goods that can be imported into a country or exported from another country into the country. And in general, the reducing the amount that you can do that is increasing protectionism.
Yeah,
so the higher the quota, the less the protectionism.
I think the word there was amount.
Yeah.
If it was just reducing quotas, then that might be a different answer. But it was the amount allowed in, so that was
exactly
that was a really important word there.
Yeah, well done.
Right,
okay. Got one more. Yeah.
Yeah. So trade liberalisation contributes to lower globalisation. An increase in the cost of production will result in the supply curve moving to the right. So, you might get asked a 4-mark question to construct a supply and demand diagram. So we need to know this stuff. And trade liberalisation, not specifically examined, but, it all comes as part of, theme 4. So, so some of us got C and D. So it seems to be split between C and D here. So if we're going for C and D, it seems that it's statement 2 causing the issue. So because obviously C and D, everyone believes that statement 1 is false. Yeah, we are. I think we're 50-50 between C and D.
I agree that statement 1 is false, but I'm thinking statement 2. Oh, sorry. I agree.
Statement,
I think
statement,
they're both false.
Yeah.
Supply curve's going to go to the left, isn't it?
Yeah, because we're going to, if cost of production increase, there'll be less incentive to supply because the cost of production increase. Trade liberalisation contributes to increased globalisation. The liberalisation of trade, allows, increased globalisation. So so supply and demand diagrams, construct them is a frequently examined topic. So you really need to make sure that you label those axes and get the demand or supply curve moving the correct way.
Yep.
Okay, well done.
Good stuff. Okay, so let's do a couple of definition spinners. The idea here is to pick out topics. I mean, you've got to know your stuff, haven't you? I know we say this a lot. You've got to know your stuff about the topics, the concepts, the models in the specification. And this is a good way of testing them. Let's spin the wheel, G.
Okay. Someone asking about trade. Basically, trade liberalisation is removing the barriers to trade, making it more liberal. That's what that means. So emotional branding. So again, I was examined a few years ago, and the examiner's reports, highlighted that not a lot of students understood what was meant by emotional branding. That's why, luckily for us, because it is random, it has landed on that. It's as if it knows what to land on, isn't it?
It is. It's a smart wheel.
It is really smart. So, I like George's answer there, yeah, and Business 01, Business 01 as well. It's that about emotional response, isn't it? I think the question when it was examined was about Deliveroo, and I think it mentioned in the extract that when people order a Deliveroo, there are moments of joy. Jim, do you experience moments of joy when you order from Deliveroo or Just Eat?
I do if it arrives on time. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, So emotional branding, Adam, there, great answer, is trying to play on people's emotions to try and sell. And not often, emotional branding, emotional marketing is more likely to lead to viral marketing, isn't it? When you're tying
Yeah,
people's emotions.
very much so. It's closely linked to viral marketing. Viral marketing is all about triggering an emotional response to a communication, which means you don't have to pay for people to share it.
And as that is a great example. So sometimes when you see an advert maybe on social media for charity or something like that, you feel that emotional pull, don't you? And you therefore feel you should contribute. That is a great great example. That's a great example.
Yeah,
well done.
If you think about Domino's, that very famous campaign, deliver order now for half time. I remember going to a meeting with the CEO of Domino's UK, and he said that that campaign is designed. You run the campaign, the ad 45 minutes before halftime, and they try to get pizzas delivered within 30 minutes of them being ordered. And he said, if the pizza gets delivered within 30 minutes, people are happy, emotionally happy. If it's after 30 minutes, they're hungry and they're emotionally disappointed. And it's about that expectation, isn't it? Particularly when you open up a pizza box.
Yeah.
So great answers coming through on the live stream. Well done for those. Here's what
well
we
done,
went
Anna.
with.
Yeah. Yeah, so emotional branding is a marketing strategy that aims to create deep, meaningful connections with customers or consumers by appealing to their emotions, values, and personal experience. I think the charity one is that's such a great example. It really is. That's a really good example. Great stuff.
Shall we spin it again? So hopefully this time it won't land on. It can't land on emotional branding. Yes, it can. It's still there, but hopefully it won't because it's a smart wheel, isn't it?
Well, excuse me.
Fortunately for you, G, it's not landed on emotional branding. Balance of payments.
I would have got quite emotional if it did. Balance of payments. Again, that's on the specification. It's probably unlikely to be a direct question, but it's something you could bring into your analysis, perhaps. But it's on the specification, so if it's on there, it could be examined.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we understand balance of payments, don't we? Oh, I like Clappy's answer. Imports and exports, really. Yeah, good answer. Wow, very impressive.
George is possibly also doing A-level economics, but it's more than just trade flows. It is other flows of. For example, it could be FDI, couldn't it, or interest remittances back from one country to another.
Yeah.
And of course, it's very much in the news, and it's very closely linked with globalization and protectionism and open trade and the whole issue of Trump's tariffs, where he's effectively trying to reduce a trade deficit.
Is Trump president now, is he?
He still is, yeah. I thought he was.
Is he? Wow. I must have missed that. So the balance of payments is a record of all financial transactions made between a country and the rest of the world, including trade, investment, and transfers. But to be honest, I think everyone's definitions there.
Yeah, they were spot on.
Would secure the knowledge marks.
Now, it's been a while, hasn't it? We've not done a calculation for a while. Should we do one here?
So, yes. This was very similar to a question that was examined a few years ago. We've just added a little bit extra to make it a bit more challenging. So, product A has a PED of minus 0.5. Last year, it sold 10,000 units. The business is considering the price, increasing the price from £5 to £6. Calculate the new yearly quantity demand. That was the exam question. But we also want you to calculate the revenue based on the price increase. So this has been examined, the first part. The revenue part hasn't, but it's a little bit of a stretching challenge. So can you try to work out those two questions, please? So Slippin' Jimster there has got a formula. Doesn't show the answer, and it's only the first part of the question. So if we can just do if we're going to get the answer, then maybe develop that a bit further.
So the price increase is an extra £1 on top of £5, isn't it? So that, to my mind, is a 20% increase in price.
Could be.
And then what we've got to do is work out what the implication is for demand with that PED. So if it's minus an increase in price, we should expect them to sell fewer units.
I'm sure. I'm just going to double check my answer here.
Yeah. I reckon it's fewer units. Should be 10% fewer units.
But revenue should increase, I think, if we understand the concept.
Yep.
So we didn't ask for the difference, but we know that we didn't. If basically it was 10,000 units at £5 original, that's £50,000 worth of revenue.
Yep.
So some students here are saying 54,000. So I assume that basically by increasing the price, although demand's fallen, we've actually potentially increased revenue by 4,000.
Let's have a look, shall we? There it is.
Yeah. So we got the price increase 20%. We got the change in quantity demanded, which is with 20 times the coefficient. We got the new yearly quantity demanded. I forgot to put the calculation of that, but that's just 10% lower than the 10,000. 10,000 times 0.9. So the 9,000 times the £6, £54,000. So what we're saying is when we increase the price, although the quantity demand has fallen, we actually increase revenue by £4,000.
Lots of people making sure they pick up all 4 marks in Edexcel for a question like that. Showing their working, showing the process. Sealers there is perhaps one of the best examples in the live chat of how to do it.
Amazing.
And correctly identifying as revenues with a pound sign. So the whole thing there, that will be 4 out of 4.
Amazing. Perfect.
Good work.
Perfect.
Don't forget with the calculations. I know we tend to do them fairly quickly on these sessions with a minute countdown clock there. But you do have more time than that in the exam. So don't rush them.
Not a minute, 4 minutes. But if you could do it in 2 minutes, that gives you an extra 2 minutes to maybe work on the 20 markers.
Yeah, exactly.
Great
okay,
stuff. Well done.
So we've done some definition spinners. Let's do some application spinners. I know this is one of Razzy's. I don't know whether Razzy is with us today, but one of Razzy's favourite activities.
So
we're going to spin the wheel, aren't we? There's 6 familiar businesses there. I feel as though we've done all of those at one stage in the last year, haven't we? At some stage.
Who knows? But what we want is the factors that influence the pricing strategy of.
Yep.
So the 5, I think it's 5 or 6 different pricing strategies on the spec.
Yep.
What factors influence what pricing strategy business chooses? Would be foolish to guess what it lands on because it is random, but you will find out.
So I know competitive pricing is one of them, isn't it? And cost-based pricing is another.
Yeah.
Penetration pricing, price skimming.
Psychological and predatory.
Psychological pricing, yeah. So the question really is, what type of pricing strategy do we think Greggs adopts?
And why?
Yeah. Now, it's definitely not price skimming, is it? Because they're not launching apart from the vegan sausage rolls. But generally, the products you see in Greggs have been there for a while, haven't they? Well, not the actual products themselves. I mean, they're baked fresh, but they're not trying to suddenly gain market share.
Yeah, true. Are you a fan of Greggs, Jim?
To be honest with you, I'm more of a prep man, if I'm being honest.
Well,
I will go into Greggs. I don't know what their coffee's like. I prefer Marks and Spencer's coffee.
Oh,
but what do I know about?
Yeah. Well, you are less sensitive to price than one would imagine.
Anyway, more importantly, I'm going to stick a few examples on the screen of different pricing strategies, but with, and you'll be pleased with this, with some application baked into the answer.
Oh. Yeah. That is a great. The cost to bake each pastry. That is honestly, it's not often we get moved to seeing these. Do you know what? I'm nearly in tears here. I'm going to have to remove my spectacles. Yeah, that is beautiful. So that's poetry. Do you know what? That is amazing as well. Just, I think I beat there. Greggs may use. Do you know? I think someone's messaged me on Facebook. Greggs may use. That's a great word. That's a hedging word. They may use. They may not. Competitive pricing to compare to other shops. Shops' application, such as Costa and Pret. Silent.
A number of people going for
cost plus.
Cost plus.
Oh, amazing.
Now I tell you what, why don't I stick Sam's on as well, because Sam has gone for a pricing strategy which I think he's alone in this. He's gone for psychological pricing, which I think Greggs do use, don't they?
Yeah, $9.99.
A lot of retailers do.
Yeah.
Yep,
it's a great answer. You know what? And I can't fault that really.
The only thing I would add into that is I would add in a bit of such as seasoning to that one, G. So are likely to buy products in a rush, such as sausage rolls and
pizza
slices, just to make it about Greggs.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Some great
Styler,
stuff.
Styler, I think you're right. I think we have to call 999 here. I think the sprinklers might go off in my house. Wow, you are on fire. So well done for telling us that as well.
Let's have a look. See here's what we went with.
Yeah, so the cost of the ingredients for their food. See the application there, such as the meat in their steak bakes. So cost plus. The level of competition, competitive pricing, in the business environment, such as other food on the go businesses, such as Subway. Well, that could have been Pret,
Yep.
you know, it could have been Starbucks or whatever. But you just see the red there where we've used such as seasoning and also industry-specific language, ingredients, and food. I'm moving my cursor over there as if anyone can see it. Of course, I can't. But the cost of the ingredients for their food. Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, well done. So obviously, application is key, isn't it?
It is.
It's time for another calculation. So I'll just introduce this and then we'll set the clock because almost certainly, given the quality of the people on the live chat this afternoon, the answer will appear before we even start the clock. So we've got some information about how the value of a market has grown in recent years there. And using that information, we want you to calculate the estimated market size in 2025, assuming that the growth shown in the data is continued. So over to you. Have a go.
Yeah, well done. So there was a question. Paper one can be quite unusual, Jim, in type of the questions. So there was a question a few years ago where students were given market growth over a period of years and had to work out the percentage difference between 2 years. So percentages is so important.
Yeah,
it really is. I'm just checking the checking.
I'm going to have a go as well.
Yeah, I'm going to have a go. Yeah.
Do we want to round up at all?
No.
Rounding up, rounding down?
No. You just write the answer. I've not seen the correct answer. I've not seen the correct answer yet.
Do you want to see my answer?
Well, I don't want to spoil it for everyone else. So, yeah, a lot of people should put 4.3 million. You know, it doesn't say to 1 or 2 decimal places. So I think you know what, Siler, you know, you are on fire. Literally, you're burning away there like a piece of charcoal. You know, you're still burning and smouldering. So that is a great answer. You know, you're not cooling down there. Syntax 64. So
I was going to stick Siler's answer on the screen, but Syntax got there before. So.
Yeah.
Although there's actually one too many zeros there, isn't it? That's 4.3 billion. But that's just a typing error.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, you are burning away. So market growth was 20% each year. So, you know, we should know difference divided by the original times 100. So the market's grown between those years by 20%. So we therefore need to increase 3.6 million by 20%. That was 4,320,000. It did not say write your answer to 1 or 2 decimal, well, never be 1 decimal place. So we wanted the full answer there. So 4.3, if you're 4.3, you're robbing the business of 20,000, or robbing the market, sorry, 20,000.
Yeah.
4,320,000. Great stuff.
And if we wanted to calculate market share, we'd have to know the revenue in 2025 of one or more businesses in that market, wouldn't we? That will be the bottom bit of the calculation.
Yeah, so I think the learning from this is, you know, PED and YED are the standard calculations, the formulas for paper one. However, Edexcel do like to ask lots of questions based around, you know, percentage changes with charts and graphs. Make sure you can calculate percentage changes accurately and efficiently. So on our, and we might put the link here on the Tutor to Your website, we created a download on how to work out percentage changes. I would urge you all to download it because they are the type of questions you do get in paper one.
Yeah. I feel a calculation warm-up coming up maybe on Tuesday, just for half an hour, just quick fire of all the different calculations, just because sometimes the more recently you do them, the better it is. You sound very enthusiastic about that, G.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So Willow and Willow and Wild, founded in 2012, is a boutique. Have I pronounced that correctly? Boutique.
Yeah, boutique. Yeah,
boutique natural skincare company based in Cornwall, led by eco entrepreneur Sophie Ellis.
Okay,
that's a modern reference there. In 2021, it opened a second studio to expand its production of plant-based skincare products. So vegan, plant-based skincare products. It produces and sells a wide range of skincare products from seaweed-infused face creams, lavender balms to oat milk soaps and essential oil rollers. They made it in small batches, so we got some production information there.
Nice.
Using locally sourced ingredients and sustainable packaging.
It's plenty of seaweed in Cornwall.
Is there really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you holiday in Cornwall a lot, don't you, Jim?
I do 2 weeks a year. But
Jeez.
keep going, G. That's just
Yeah.
a bit of local flavour.
All right, okay. So the brand positions itself as an alternative to the synthetic, nasty, mass-produced skincare products.
Oh, that's a value judgment.
Whilst the business aims to grow, it has no mass market ambitions.
Okay.
They don't sell their products in mainstream beauty chains and supermarkets. So what we've got here, we've got a business that probably operates in a niche market.
Yep.
It doesn't operate in a mass market, and nor does it sell its products in mass market
No.
beauty chains and supermarkets, whatever they may be.
Yep.
So I think the question is, this was examined 4 years ago. Assess the likely trade-offs for Willow and Wild of not having mass market ambition. Now, in a question such as this, assess questions and on paper 1 and paper 2 would require a balanced argument and a judgment. Here, we're only going to look at the balance, so we're not going to do the judgment. But remember, an assess question in paper 1 and paper 2, slightly different in paper 3, would be opposing paragraphs to get the balance and a judgment. All we want here is what are the potential trade-offs, maybe for and against. So trade-offs it's been examined twice. Also Silas straight in there.
No surprise.
That is a trade-off. Basically trade-off is, more of one thing, less of the other. So by operating in a niche market, maybe they are trading off high profitability as mass markets appeal to a lot. So maybe they're not denying themselves. That's another trade-off. No economies of scale as they produce. That's a brilliant application there, isn't
Fantastic.
it? Recognizing.
Yep.
Limits the number of customers that they can market to.
Yeah, you make a decision to target customers with very specific needs and wants. A niche, by definition, you're limited, aren't you? That you're limiting the number of customers. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I like George's question.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, I'll stick George's on. Yeah.
Yeah. So selling a larger, there was no. I think there was another one she said about sorting ethically, so to trade off a larger profit margin. So that
found
was
it. Yeah, here it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is a really good one. So you're trading off ethics. Remember, the only way is ethics. So you were trading off ethics for a larger profit margin. Some great answers. Or SW here. What application from SW?
Here it's coming in now, live from the AI. Here it is.
They can charge a premium price for their face creams and balms, as they are so specific they can satisfy. So basically, so I think demand will be there, but not as great as operating in a mass market. Ollie then's a bit of a Porter's generic strategies, differentiation strategy there. This has really gone. This has gone viral. This question, Jim. Everyone's having a go,
isn't it? The fact that the people in the live chat, hopefully, maybe if you're watching on catch up, you're picking out the trade-offs. A decision to do one thing has implications, doesn't it? You decide to focus on a niche. It means that, by definition, you're not attractive to the mass, and vice versa.
Yeah. Anna's got a good point as Syntax 64. Let's put Anna's on.
Okay.
So less so a niche market, less competitive due to lack of saturation. So you could argue that the trading off sales for a less competitive market. Harry, I'm not sure I can answer that in a minute. Syntax 64. Let's have a look at the syntaxes there. So, that's on the spec. Reduces chances, I think, of prop maximization.
Yep.
Not advertising in supermarkets.
Yep.
Great stuff. Should we put our answer on?
It's a sales volume fan. I'm getting the feeling that Willow and Wild products aren't cheap. Would that be?
Well, I think,
Is that the right word? They might still be value for money, but I suspect they're not. I wouldn't get a lot of change out of a £20 note.
Yeah, okay, let's have a look. So let's look at some trade-offs. So potentially lower sales. So we've started with a point there. By not having mass market ambition, there is a possibility. So sacrificing is an amazing word to use in questions on trade-offs. They could be sacrificing additional sales, such as lavender balm and oat milk soaps as our application. This is because they don't sell their skincare products application in mainstream beauty chains or supermarkets, such as Tesco. This means they are limiting the sales they could make. However, by not having mass market ambitions, it could provide a stronger brand image. They operate in a niche market selling plant-based skin products. Customers may be prepared more for their seaweed-infused face creams, as they are not available in mass market stores, such as Superdrug. So we recognise that a mass market Beauty, or I use the word beauty loosely, but some Superdrug, sells beauty products. This exclusivity may reduce the price elasticity demand of their skincare products, allowing them to charge a higher price. So,
Number of people
Swags,
asking in the live chat. Just
yeah,
swags as well. Obviously,
yeah.
we've outlined two trade-offs there, haven't we? But obviously, we'd need them to be
Judgment.
balanced and also have a judgment.
Yeah, so they are balanced because we've got a positive trade-off.
Yep.
Sorry, we've got a negative trade-off at the first
Yep.
one. We've got a positive. Is that enough to write for a 12 marker? Not particularly. Obviously, you need a judgment. Now, remember, the judgment for 10 and 12 mark questions and your recommendation for the 20, in order to secure full marks, has to bring in something new. That could be a new point or a new piece of context or something you've already said but developed further. You need to build on your prior analysis, so you need to use that, but then you also need to go beyond that and add something new in order to secure full marks.
Yep.
So I would expect, obviously, we're limited by screen size there. The analysis is not really fully developed.
No.
Do you need balance in both paragraphs? Well, Harry, if you think about it here, the balance has been achieved by two opposing paragraphs. Now, some students will put however points at the end of each paragraph. Nothing wrong with that, really, but you've already achieved balance if your paragraphs are opposing.
Okay.
Because if you look here, we've got a negative trade-off, lower sales. Yep. We've got a positive trade-off by not having mass market ambitions, potentially lower sales, but also potentially higher prices, maybe potentially higher profit. So we have balance there. All we would need is a bit more development, how and why, and we would also need a judgment that builds on what we've said, but goes beyond that, either adding a new piece of context, a new point, or developing something you already said further. Examiners must recognise that there's something new in your judgment in order to allow you to reach the higher levels.
So let's see what that is. So the judgment, obviously, we haven't got the question there in terms of the final judgment, but I suppose you've just got to make a decision as to whether not having a mass market ambition is the right thing for that business.
Yeah, so I think some students saying now the trade-offs is plural. Just ignore that. That makes no difference at all. Now, it's still 1 for, 1 against, and a judgment.
Yep.
Just ignore that because it just says, so I could say it says like a trade-off. But it's we still only
both
want
of those
1
are trade-offs, aren't they? Both of those
they
are.
Yeah,
one's a positive trade-off, one's a negative.
Yeah, they are trade-offs. So we have two trade-offs there, but you have to have balance.
Yeah.
So opposing paragraphs is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And a judgment.
If you were willing and wild, I think you would stick with the strategy there, wouldn't you? And focus on the niche and ignore mass market ambition.
Yeah, so Cindy's saying that I thought a 10 market is 2 for each. So you're saying 4 paragraphs in a judgment. Now, Cindy, you can write as many paragraphs as you want. You really can. However, 2 for, 2 against in a judgment, I think you're going to struggle for time. And I think you're going to struggle to get the logical developed chains of reason that are required to achieve the higher levels of the mark scheme. So questions really need to be, any 10 or 12 marker, 20 markers are different. Or a 10 or 12 marker, that would be fine. 1 for, 1 against with a judgment. That would be fine, Cindy. Now, also, can I just expand on this a little bit, Jim?
Sure, go for it. Yeah.
So if you had a question such as, let's give us 2 scenarios here. So you had a question such as assess the value of business planning to a new business. Why it's a value, why it's not a value, judgment. That would be fine. You get a question such as assess the impact of an increase in interest rates on Aldi. Positive impact, negative impact, judgment.
Yeah.
If you got a question though that said assess the importance of price to assess the importance of product to Prada, then you could say why product's important, why it's not important, then a judgment. Alternatively, you could say why product is important to Prada, but why another element may be more important, such as price or promotion or place, than a judgment. So questions that ask you to assess the importance, as long as what if it asks for benefits? Well, there's never been a plural question for a long time, and even if it was benefits, all you would need is a benefit, a downside, and a judgment.
Yep.
2 paragraphs and a conclusion is fine. And you can find all that out on the Edexcel examiner's reports, which has examples of student answers, and you can see that's the case. Does a however point to put you into level 3? I don't really know what that. Do you not need balance in both paragraphs?
Well, what we're saying
No.
is the balance comes from the paragraphs you write, doesn't it?
Yeah. So by adding, however, by adding balance in each of those paragraphs, you've already got balance. The danger is of adding balance in each paragraph. There, more is you're leaving less to write in your judgment.
Yeah.
But answer them how you've been taught and what you feel comfortable with. All we're saying is there are different ways to get the marks. This is one way. Be guided by your teachers.
Good stuff.
Is this Jeff or Jim? No, it's Grim.
Yeah. I'm Jeff's stunt double, as you know.
Yeah, so I'll just basically pick one for the final question.
Yeah.
Leandro there. Can we Leandro's on the air? So
put it on, yeah.
Leandro W, exactly the same. The only difference between a 10 and 12 mark question is in and this is very specific in the mark schemes. It refers to the words wide ranging. There's one more mark for analysis. There's one more mark for evaluation. So there's an expectancy that your chains of reasoning will be slightly more developed than a 10 marker, and your evaluation will be slightly more developed than a 10 marker. It's not an extra paragraph. It's just an extra bit of analysis and then an extra bit of evaluation. How do you recommend we revise? Now I feel like there's not much I can do anymore. Well, you know what? If you think you can't do anymore, then that's fine. All I would do is print off the specification or get a copy on your laptop. Make sure you understand every single concept on there, and then you're good to go. Maybe look at some past paper questions.
Yeah, I think practicing past paper questions now is a good way to do it, isn't it? And then just you soon work out which topics you need a little bit more work on. If there's things like Ped and Yed, we did a special, didn't we, on Ped and Yed last week or the week before? Yeah. Half an hour, I was watching that, going through that. That's as tough as it gets. But yeah, there's people are wanting to crack on next week, and we'll be in good shape. I think there's certainly about the quality of the responses we've had on the live stream in this and previous sessions.
Definitely. I once heard a really good phrase, Jim, about revision. It's like wrestling a gorilla. Mm-hmm. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when the gorilla's tired. You can read it about what you will. But you can always keep revising. That's all I'm saying.
It's not easy, though, when the sun's shining outside, so you do have to make sure you look after yourself. And
you do.
And just keep chipping away, and you'll be in good shape. Particularly if you're committed to watching sessions like this, and other sessions are available, but this kind of stuff makes a big difference, particularly if you do it in the days shortly before each paper.
Definitely.
Can I
just say to where was it? It wasn't the Coventry or Sunderland. what a ridiculous question to ask a Sunderland season ticket holder. There was a question about it was SW there.
I'll find it. Yeah.
SW. Do you have a so if you go on the Tutor to You website, there is what we call a topic tracker, where basically we've matched, we've recorded or listed all the topics that's previously been examined, so you can see the topics that have been examined and how many times and on the papers, but also where there are gaps. All I would say is, do not be seduced by the fact that something's been examined 10 times and something's never been examined. Something's been examined 10 times, it could still come up this year. Something that's not been examined may still not be examined this year. You just have to know your stuff. You have to know. When is the business exam? You're kidding us then, obviously.
That's the other thing you need to know, your exam timetable. It's a useful thing to know.
I'll fall for it. It's a fortnight. The first one is Wednesday, 14th of May. I believe so.
Good stuff. Well done, Jay. So look, all the best, everyone, over the weekend as you revise. Keep in touch with us. See if we may do some more stuff before paper 1. But we'll certainly be around throughout the period up to paper 2 and then all over paper 3. And just wishing you all the best. I know a lot of you have got 2 or 3 exams next week, so I hope those go well as business. And thanks for joining us live. Cheers, G.
Cheers. Thank you.